All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're bridging the gap between your physical biology and your mental well-being. We're going to look at two totally different systems in your body that operate under surprisingly similar rules. On the outside, we've got our physical barrier, our skin, and on the inside, our psychological barrier. And as we're going to see, these two are deeply, deeply connected.
So think about this. What on earth does stubborn adult acne have in common with overachiever burnout? They seem like complete opposites, right? One is this super frustrating physical thing, and the other is just pure mental exhaustion. But actually, both are external masks hiding some really deep internal imbalances. They're essentially red flags from a system that has totally lost its equilibrium.
Here is how we're breaking it all down today. First, the illusion of fine. Second, the gut-skin axis. Third, high-functioning depression. Fourth, the inflammation bridge. And finally, healing from the inside.
Okay, kicking things off with part 1, the illusion of fine, how external masks hide our internal struggles.
Now, we really have to draw a line between standard burnout and something much, much deeper. Burnout, that's an occupational hazard. It's driven by external pressure. If you pull your brain out of a toxic workplace, the symptoms usually start to improve. But high-functioning depression, or HFD, is a whole different ballgame. Folks with HFD look incredibly successful on the outside, but inwardly, they're carrying around unprocessed trauma. You can take them out of the stressful environment, but that deep restlessness, it doesn't budge. They literally cannot just sit still and exist.
Moving right along to part 2, the gut-skin axis, your body's autonomous physical barrier. To really grasp this internal struggle, we've got to start with our physical outer barrier, the skin, and see how it's hardwired to our gut. Think about it, a heavy, super sugary meal doesn't just sit in your stomach, it practically talks to your skin. The food you eat totally shifts your gut microbiome, and those microbes send out chemical signals that can literally manifest as a breakout on your face the very next day. They are in constant 24/7 communication.
But here's the catch. Even though they talk, these are two totally distinct ecosystems, and you have to maintain their specific environments to keep your barrier defense strong. Your gut, it's primarily an anaerobic environment, meaning the bacteria thrive without oxygen. Your skin, on the flip side, is aerobic and needs a slightly acidic pH, right around 5.0, to keep its microbial balance in check. So when we use harsh, high pH soaps, we're literally stripping away the good oils and wrecking that local ecosystem.
85 to 90%? That is a massive chunk of people aged 12 to 24 dealing with acne. It's a huge number, and it's a glaring indicator of blocked pores and a specific bacteria, Cutibacterium acnes, just having a field day in an unbalanced environment. When we eat highly processed, sugar-loaded diets, our sebum production spikes, creating the absolute perfect storm for these pathogens to thrive. Which brings us to a really crucial point. If you experience a severe physical trauma, like a burn, it breaks that outer barrier and immediately sends distress signals deep into your gut system. As immunologist Dr. Caroline Lapoule points out, this communication goes both ways. You compromise the skin, pathogens rush in, and an inflammatory alarm bell rings all the way down into your GI tract.
Let's pivot to part 3, high-functioning depression, your mind's autonomous psychological barrier.
It's wild, but just like that compromised skin barrier, a traumatized, unhealed brain builds up this intense external facade of overachievement just to shield itself from internal pain. As Dr. Judith Joseph calls it, people become human doings instead of human beings. They use their productivity, their fancy degrees, their endless to-do lists to totally avoid processing the micro-traumas they carry inside.
And what happens when you constantly avoid that pain? You hit anhedonia. We are literally wired with the DNA for joy. But when our internal system is thrown out of whack by these micro-traumas, we hit this profound, heavy numbness. It's that feeling of everything just being meh. You hit all the big milestones, the promotion, the house, the great relationship, and yet you feel completely disconnected from the joy those things are supposed to bring.
Dr. Joseph actually points out that this endless people-pleasing is essentially psychological masochism. It's driven by a serious lack of self-worth. We turn into modern-day martyrs, attaching our entire identity to what we can do for others. We give and give without any boundaries, and naturally, the people around us just learn to keep taking.
So how does this all tie together? Let's look at part 4, the inflammation bridge, the biopsychosocial synthesis.
Okay, get ready, because here is the real aha moment of this explainer. You absolutely cannot separate the mind from the body.
The biopsychosocial model tells us that your health is like a totally unique fingerprint. Your hormones, your childhood traumas, your current social environment, like how much time you spend scrolling on your phone, they all interlock. Trying to treat just one of those things while ignoring the rest, it's like trying to solve a puzzle with half the pieces missing.
So, if you're dealing with psychiatric symptoms, it's not just all in your head. Well, actually, scratch that. It is in your head, but it's literal physical inflammation. An unbalanced gut creates chronic inflammation, and since the brain doesn't feel pain like a swollen ankle does, that physical swelling manifests as depression, anxiety, brain fog, and intense mood shifts.
The biology here is just beautiful. You've got good gut bacteria producing short-chain fatty acids to cool down inflammation. Meanwhile, your skin is soaking up safe sun to synthesize vitamin D, which reinforces your gut barrier. But then throw in hormonal midlife shifts that mess with your dopamine, or the massive physical inflammation triggered by emotional stress and digital burnout, and it becomes so obvious why a holistic approach isn't just nice to have, it's absolutely mandatory.
Finally, let's talk solutions in Part 5, Healing from the Inside. Actionable steps to reclaim homeostasis and joy.
So how do we actually fix this? Biologically, getting back to homeostasis means feeding your gut the good stuff while protecting your skin's naturally acidic barrier. A Mediterranean diet is phenomenal for lowering systemic inflammation. Bringing in prebiotics, probiotics, and postbiotics can help rebalance both your gut and your skin. And please, step away from those harsh, high-pH cleansers. Keep your skin hydrated, but let it do its thing and self-regulate.
But we can't ignore the psychological inflammation, right? To fight off digital depression and Zoom fatigue, Dr. Joseph lays out this fantastic reset method. Realize how screens are actually impacting you. Educate yourself on the data. Strategize real boundaries, like maybe no phones in the bedroom. Set clear expectations, and be thoughtful enough to pivot if your plan isn't working. Honestly, just disconnecting from your devices is one of the fastest ways to skyrocket your happiness.
And for deep psychological healing, you want to practice the 5 V's. This is all about shifting from a life of constant doing to intentional being. Validate your feelings instead of suppressing them. Vent to trusted friends in a reciprocal way, not just trauma dumping. Anchor into your true values rather than chasing likes or clout. Check your vitals, your sleep, your movement, your relationships. And lastly, have a vision. Actually schedule and fiercely protect simple moments of joy every single day.
So here's what I want you to think about as you go through your week. I hope this explainer sparked something for you. We spend so much time and energy perfecting our outside, right? Clearing our skin, chasing promotions, curating the perfect social media feed. But when the phone is finally off, the workday is done, and you strip away all those distractions to sit in total silence, who are you actually being? Are you allowing yourself to feel joy?